It was sunny. It was Sunday. And my wife Rosa, daughter Sarah, and I were on our way to say hello or goodbye to what was left of my mother. Mother had been bedridden for over a year, and the situation had evolved into a social occasion. Relatives and a number of neighborhood well-wishers gathered at my mother's house every weekend to sip drinks, munch munchies, pay respects. The front door was ajar, so we pushed it open and went in, passing a couple of strangers. My mother lay in her own bed, in her own room, located at the end of a long hallway. She'd said she wanted it that way over a year ago, just before she began going in and out of focus. Turning into the kitchen, I found more people. They smiled at me, nodding their heads. I didn't know them. They seemed to know me. There was coffee, there were some pastries. Moving into the dining room, I found more softly chatting people. Maybe they were Aunt Julia's friends. Aunt Julia, my mother's younger sister, took seriously my mother's wish to die in her own bed. She stood guard at my mother's bedroom door, ushering people in, letting them out in an orderly, controlled fashion. She needs her rest, and it's my responsibility, she repeated. Your poor mother, Aunt Julia said, patting my arm, looking toward my mother's closed bedroom door with sad eyes. Be prepared. She doesn't recognize many of us. We went in. The bedroom was sparkling clean. No dirt, no sounds except for Mom's weak breathing. A medicinal smell pinched at the hairs of my nostrils. Frilly yellow and blue curtains hung over the windows, letting in enough daylight to give the impression that the situation was as normal could be. The bed was situated beneath the window, the body tucked in its place under smooth, pale yellow covers. Next to the bed were two oblong metal tanks filled with oxygen for when the crises came. The night table was cluttered with different colored medicines in containers of different shapes and sizes. My little daughter froze at the door. She was only 5. My wife immediately began mumbling what I took to be a prayer. Aunt Julia shut the door behind us. I moved toward my mother, bent down and kissed her on the cheek. Her eyes remained closed. I placed my lips near her ear and whispered encouraging words. No response, no twitch. My wife came up, still murmuring. My daughter remained by the door, staring at the grandma in bed, who did not move or whisper back when whispered to. My wife bent to kiss my mother's cheek, her whispering guttural and rapid. I signaled for Sarah to come over. Unwillingly, my daughter approached. When my wife had finished, Sarah studied the grandma she hardly knew, but used to smile and say kind words and give presents. My daughter's eyes stared at the sunken face lying motionless in the pale light. They went from the immaculate white pillow to the thin, bloodless lips and blue-veined eyelids. Back to the sparse white hair spread on the pillow. I told her, "Take Grandma's hand." Sarah searched the bed for a hand and found one, half hidden amid the white sheets. It was on his side in a limp, cupped position. There were prominent bumpy veins and several brown spots on his back. Sarah reached for the hand, but lost her courage midway. She looked up at me imploringly. I relented, seeing her doubt and fear, and nodded. My daughter retreated with her mother to the door. I remained by the bed a while longer, looking down at my motionless mother. Then I gazed up through the curtains to the lawn and the peaceful, tree-shaded street beyond. What do I tell my mother? The weather is nice. Say goodbye again. Say something, even if it means nothing. Pretend normal. I reached down and covered my mother's hand with my own. I nearly jerked away when I thought I detected a slight movement of response. Making an effort, calming, I kept my hand on hers, bent to kiss the cold cheek once more, and whispered, "I love you, Mother."